heard you were going to be away today. Okay, Deuteronomy 30, verses 1 through 10. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations where the Yahweh thy Elohim have driven thee, and shalt return unto Yahweh thy Elohim, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, all thy heart and with all thy soul, that then Yahweh thy Elohim will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations where the Yahweh thy Elohim have scattered thee. If any of them be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy Elohim gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yahweh thy Elohim will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy father. And Yahweh thy Elohim will circumcise thy heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And Yahweh thy Elohim will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And Yahweh thy Elohim will make thee plenteous in every work of thy hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land, for good. For Yahweh will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy father, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to keep his commandments and his statutes which are written in this book of the law. And if thou turn unto Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Praise the Most High Yah. Okay. All right, so now we're looking, that was Deuteronomy chapter 30. Now we look to the book of Yeshaya, otherwise known as Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 58. Isaiah 58, verses 12, 13, and 14. Isaiah 58, verses 12, 13, and 14. And the scriptures say, and they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places. Thou shalt raise up the foundations of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of paths to dwell in. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Yahweh honorable, and shalt honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh. And I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Yaakov thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh hath spoken. Isaiah chapter 58, verses 12 to 14. Now we turn to the book of Acts, Acts chapter 13, from verses 38 to 44. Acts chapter 13, verses 38 to 44. Be it known unto you, therefore, men and brethren, that through this man is preached unto you the forgiveness of sins, and by him all that believe are justified from all things from which you could not be justified by the law of Moses. Beware, therefore, lest that come upon you which is spoken of in the prophets. Behold, ye despisers, and wonder and perish. For I work a work in your days, a work which ye shall in no wise believe, though a man declare it unto you. And when the Yahudim were gone out of the synagogue, the Gentiles besought that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath. Now, when the congregation was broken up, many of the Yahudim and religious proselytes followed Paul and Barnabas, who, speaking to them, persuaded them to continue in the grace of Yahweh. And the next Sabbath day came almost the whole city together to hear the word of Yahweh. That was Acts chapter 13, verses 38 to 44. Now we turn to the epistle that was addressed to the Hebrews. Epistle addressed to the Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 8, verses 6 through 12. Hebrews chapter 8, verses 6 through 12. And the epistle reads, "But now has he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Yasha'al and with the house of Yawadah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahweh. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Yasha'al after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them Elohim, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more." Praise the Most High Yah. That was Hebrews chapter 8, verses 6 through 12. Now we turn to the revelation of the Messiah, the revelation of the Mashiach, Yahushua, Messiah, Yahushua. We look at Revelation chapter 14, verses 6, 7, and 12. Revelation 14, verses 6, 7, and 12. "And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear Yahweh, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters." Verse 12. "Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahushua." That was Revelation chapter 14, verses 6, 7, and 12. And now we turn to Revelation chapter 11, and we're in the seventh trumpet of Revelation chapter 11. And we're reading from verses 15 to 19, which represent the seventh trumpet. "And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Elohim and of his Messiah, and he shall reign forever and ever. And the 24 elders, which sat before Yahweh on their seats, fell upon their faces and worshipped Yahweh, saying, We give thee thanks, O Yahweh al Shaddai, which art and wast and art to come, because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and hast reigned. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And the temple of Yahweh was opened in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament, and there were lightnings and voices and thunderings, and an earthquake and great hail." That was Revelation 11, verses 15 to 19. Last but not least, we look back to Yeshaya or Isaiah chapter 66. And we're looking at chapter 66 of Isaiah from verses 22 to 24. Isaiah 66, verses 22 to 24. And the prophecy reads, "For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith Yahweh, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahweh. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me. For their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched. And they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh." Thus ends the morning reading of the scriptures. Thank you, Akati Shah, for posting those scriptures, Zakat. And we are going to continue in our study of Deuteronomy. We have been looking at Deuteronomy, and we're in Deuteronomy chapter 28, which is the chapter which we're calling the chapter of the awakening. We're calling it the chapter of the awakening is because of this chapter of this particular book that many people start to understand who they really were, who didn't know prior to this who they really were. So-called African Americans predominantly didn't know who they really were. And during the course of the 4 centuries, we've been in captivity in this land that is now called the United States of America. We've been always searching for who we were, always trying to find someone to be, well, for lack of a better word, a messiah for us. Always trying to find somebody that we could look to as our leader. And during the course of time, we found many different people: Frederick Douglass, Nat Turner, W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, Fred Hampton, Huey Newton, Eldridge Cleaver, many others, Martin Luther King, and many other people that we look to. Unfortunately, in the present time where we are right now, we're looking to entertainers. And we did that before. People like Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, Jack Johnson, Jim Brown, Wilt Chamberlain, Jackie Robinson, and people of that nature who we look to, and many others, for entertainment. Aretha Franklin, Nat King Cole, Sidney Poitier, Bill Cosby. We look to these people because we didn't have any true leader. And so we're always looking for a Messiah. We're always looking for somebody. And then we have, of course, the most famous person that African Americans look to, white Jesus. We're looking to white Jesus. And all of it is wrong. And none of it represents who we are. And none of those people are our Savior. None of them. And as we read this chapter, Deuteronomy 28, we begin to discover that we are the chosen people of the Most High God of all gods, Yahweh. And that he sent his son, whom they call white Jesus, who is really the Hebrew black man, Yahweh Shai, who came to redeem his people from their sins. And this awakening started with many of us with this very chapter, Deuteronomy chapter 28, which is why it's very important that we study this chapter. awakening us to who we were and who our fathers were and where we came from and why we're in the position that we're in right now. Why we're in this position that we find ourselves. And it's no coincidence that this awakening that's now going on is happening at a time in Earth's history when all things are about to come to a close. The kingdom of Yah is righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Ghost. A kingdom of righteousness has no room for sin or sinners in it. So there would be no room for sin or sinners in a kingdom that's built on righteousness, perfect righteousness. And so it's no coincidence that this awakening is happening at this time when this kingdom of righteousness is about to destroy all the other kingdoms. In fact, let's take a look at that. We're going to be studying Revelation after we get done with Deuteronomy by the grace of the Most High. And in our study of the book of Revelation, we must needs study Daniel. We must needs study Daniel in our study of the book of Revelation, because Daniel and Revelation are tied together. And in Daniel chapter 2, talking about the Hebrew God, the God of the Hebrews, Yahweh, who sent his son, who was going to send his son, Yahweh Shai, to take the kingdom. The first time he took and sent Yahweh Shai in the flesh of a man to redeem his people who were under the curse and condemnation of his law, to remove the curse and condemnation from them and cause them to again be in righteousness. But Daniel is showing something with regard to the kingdom of Yah. Daniel chapter 2, verse 44 and 45. Daniel 2, 44 and 45. Notice what it says. And in the days of these kings shall the Elohim of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great Elohim have made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Powerful words. So the Most High is about to set up a kingdom that's of righteousness, that's going to destroy all these kingdoms. Y'all hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Are you out there? I want to make sure you can hear me. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yes, he's going to set up a kingdom that's going to destroy all these kingdoms. And it's not going to be left to other people. And it's going to stand forever, even forever and ever and ever and ever. It will never die and never fail. A kingdom of perfect righteousness. And right now, what he's doing in this awakening is he's preparing his chosen people. You see, brothers and sisters, the word does tell us, and let's look at it. Isaiah chapter 55. We've read this many times. There's no harm in reading it again. Isaiah chapter 55. Isaiah 55 from verse 7. From verse 6. From verse 6 down to verse 13 of Isaiah 55. From verse 6 down to verse 13, he's talking to his people. Seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. and let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him, to our Elohim, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. And ye shall go out with joy, and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree, instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree, and it shall be to Yahweh for a name, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off. Praise the Most High, Yah. So yes, he's going to establish a kingdom of righteousness. He's going to establish it with the people that he ordained to establish this kingdom with. Remember, he called Abraham and said, I'm going to bless you and your children. Abraham had many children, but it was through the son named Yashak, which is Isaac, Yishak, Isaac, that he said is the promised seed. From Isaac to Yaakov, who later became Yashar-al. His name was changed from supplanter to right with Allah, right with the Most High. Yashar-al. And his children, who became the nation, the chosen people, upon which he said, I'm going to establish my covenant with this people forever. His word will not return unto him void, but it will accomplish that which he pleases, and it will prosper in the thing whereto he sent it. So this awakening is ordained from the Most High Yah himself, not because of how holy we are, but because of how righteous he is, and because his word will not return unto him void, but it will happen exactly as he says it will. So this chapter 28 of Deuteronomy becomes pivotal, as the Most High is using this chapter to awaken his holy people. And with the awakening, don't get it twisted now, and get this straight for everybody to hear. With this awakening comes a blessing on the earth, on whoever follows this chosen people and their Hebrew Messiah. You're going to be blessed. You're going to be blessed. You're going to be blessed. I don't care if you're Anglo-Saxon, or if you're Caucasian, or if you're of the Asian or Hamitic tribes. If you connect with these people, you're going to be blessed, because they are blessed. Yes, they have been cursed. That's what Deuteronomy 28 is showing us, isn't it? They have been cursed for a long time because of the sins of our fathers in worshiping other gods, That's the first commandment, isn't it? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. The first commandment, thou shalt have no other gods before me. And we did. We had other gods. To this very day, out there in West Africa, they painting themselves up and still worshiping other gods. Out there in Haiti, they seem to think that voodoo is some sort of religion that we should be following. They don't know any better. They are ignorant. And then, of course, in America, most of us running to the religion of the sons of Yafet, the religion of the Catholic Church, the white Jesus. Most of us run into that. Ignorant. We just don't know. But the awakening, praise the Most High Yah, is underway. It has already started. The awakening has already started. And the Most High is waking up his people as to where we fell from and who our fathers really were. The Most High is awakening his true people. And y'all are the sons of Yafet. You need to get on board with the Hebrews. You need to come with the Hebrews because you're going to be safe with the Hebrews. You know, it doesn't look that way right now. You know, we don't have all this money that these people have. We don't have, the kingdom doesn't belong to us. This kingdom doesn't belong to us. This kingdom, the way it stands right now, is not the one we're going to inherit. This is not a kingdom of righteousness. It is not. And I think we can all acknowledge that. This is not a kingdom of righteousness. Okay? The kingdom as it stands right now, the Babylonian style kingdom that we're in, is not a kingdom of righteousness. It is a kingdom of crookedness. It is a kingdom of corruption. Is it a kingdom of people crushing other people, of people sending diseases on other people, of people imprisoning other people for gain and profit? It is a place where people are trying to brainwash other people. It is a place of wickedness. It is not the kingdom of righteousness. And so those of us that recognize these things and understand them, that see what the situation really is, those of us that recognize these things and want better, we understand now the answer is right in front of us. See, this is the amazing thing, brothers and sisters. All this time, hundreds of years, the answer is right in front of us, right? It was right in front of us the whole time. But you know what? When your mind is brainwashed, when your mind is twisted up because of lies, right? The truth could be right in front of you and you won't recognize it. You understand? When you've been brainwashed for so long, the truth could be right in front of you and you won't see it. It'll be right there. And you won't see it. But when the Most High, see, that's why he asked the Laodicean church to purchase eye salve that you could see, right? Eye salve is the spirit of truth. The spirit of truth causes you to see. You know why? Because Messiah said, the blind lead the blind. Why does he say the blind lead the blind? He said that if you acknowledge that you were blind, you might be able to, you might be able to be healed. But you say you see and you can't see nothing. What didn't they see? They didn't see that the most holy Messiah was standing right in front of them. They didn't even see it. They didn't see it. Why? Because they were brainwashing the people and they themselves were brainwashed. They didn't even see. The most holy anointed one of Yahweh was standing right in front of them. They didn't recognize him. Though he was raising the dead in front of them. Though he was healing other blind people and deaf people right in front of them. And they didn't see it. Matter of fact, Judas was standing right there. He was right there when Lazarus was called out of the grave. He was right there when the sister said, no, you can't, don't move that stone, master, because he stinks. I mean, he's been dead for 4 days already. His body's decaying. He was right there. Messiah said, Lazarus, come out of there. And that boy came running out of there. He was right there. He saw it. And yet he betrayed him. Right in front of him. Pilate was standing right in front of him, asking him, what is the truth? And have mercy, the truth was standing right in front of him and he couldn't see it. So the Messiah asked us, buy of him the eye salve, which is the spirit of truth and righteousness. Buy it of him and he'll cause us to see and praise his name. As we're looking at Deuteronomy 28, he's anointed our eyes and we're starting to see. You see, if you look at the Bible as a Christian book, you're going to be blinded. The Bible is not, see, this is the first thing. I defy any man on the planet Earth. Please go through this King James Bible and show me where it says it's a Christian book. Show me where it even, you don't have to even say it. Show me where it even implies that it's a Christian book. Please show me that. I'd like to see. Because, I've read this thing through 15 or 16 times. I'm beginning to lose count now. I've read it through so many times, and I've never seen that. It's a Hebrew book given to the Hebrews. The word is given to the Hebrew nation, Yahshua. And he said, I've only chosen you. You only have I chosen of all the tribes of the earth. You only have I chosen above all people. You only have I chosen because of my promise to your fathers. And he said to Abraham, I have sworn by myself. You know, it's powerful when he said that. You know, that's powerful, right? He said, I have sworn by myself. Why do you? Because he can't swear by anybody else. He can't swear by none higher than him. He is, after all, the Most High, right? So he tells Abraham, I have sworn by myself that in blessing, I'm going to bless you. He has told him that. When did he say that? He said that when Abraham in Genesis chapter 22. Notice what it says, Genesis chapter 22. Check it out. Genesis 22. Go and read from verse 7. From verse 7 down to verse 18. Oh, yeah. From 7 to 18. We talk about Deuteronomy 20, but we backdropping as we usually do. Check this out. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father and said, my father. And he said, here am I, my son. And he said, behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, my son, Yahweh will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. Many people just don't get that, man. Check it out, y'all. So they went, both of them together, and they came to the place which Yahweh had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac, his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of Yahweh called unto him out of heaven, saying, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here am I. And he said, lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest Elohim, seeing that thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horn. And now Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Yahweh Yirah. Yahweh Yirah. They say Jehovah, but it ain't no Jehovah. Ain't no Jehovah. Ain't no J's in Hebrew. So get that straight. Yahweh Yirah. Praise the Most High. Which means Yahweh will provide or see. As it is said to this day, in the mount of Yahweh, it shall be seen. By the way, that's the same mountain the temple is built on. I need y'all to understand. That's the same mountain right there that the temple was built on. It's the same mountain it's going to be built. It's going to land on. Same mountain. And the angel of Yahweh called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time and said, by myself have I sworn. There it is right there. By myself have I sworn. Can't swear by nobody else. He can't swear by nobody else because he's the highest thing there is. He's the baddest one. There's nothing higher than the Most High. That's why he is the Most High. That's why we don't call him God, because a lot of things you can call God. You can call a tree God. You can call a person God, but there's only one God. That's the Most High of all gods. By myself have I sworn, saith Yahweh. For because thou hast done this thing, and has not withheld thy son, thine only, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed. There it is, as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. Thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Oh man, and y'all don't know that this is going to come to pass? That this is going to come to pass? See, they're trying to bamboozle you to think that them Caucasian people out there in the Middle East that come from Eastern Europe, them sons of Yafet, that's the people they talk about. It is so amazingly false. It is so amazingly lying. It is such a disgrace. It is so offensive. It is so offensive to name those people the Most High's chosen. It is offensive. You know what I'm saying? So Deuteronomy 28 lets us understand who the chosen people really are. And I'm telling all the people of the earth, connect with them. You need to connect with them, because in that is Abraham's seed. And in his seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. And of course, he's going to bless them that bless him and curse them that curse him. So yeah, we got to go through Deuteronomy 28. Got to go through these curses. We got to understand why we are where we are, right? Got to understand that. Because of the sins of our fathers, we got to understand that's why we're in this situation. But the awakening has begun. And we're now turning back to the Most High Yah. And we're remembering who we are. And we're remembering how we got here. And we're remembering what our fathers did. And it's all coming back now. It's all coming back. Praise the Most High Yah. All coming back. Let's start now. At verse 49. At verse 49 of Deuteronomy 28. At verse 49, and let's go down and read down to verse 57. Deuteronomy 28 from verse 49 down to 57. Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest, throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which Yahweh thy Elohim hath given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which Yahweh thy Elohim hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children he shall lead, so that he will not give any of them of the flesh of his children, of whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in all thy gates. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things, secretly, in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. See that? Well, you say, when did this happen? It did happen. It happened in the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD. It happened in the destruction of Jerusalem in the Babylonians. And then, let me ask y'all this question. Y'all know about the country called Australia, right? Y'all know about Australia, right? You know about Australia? You know them brothers down there called Aborigines? Them are Hebrew. Them are Hebrew brothers down there called Aborigines. Do you know they were eating their own children? They eat their own flesh and blood. You know they was eating their own people. Matter of fact, when some of them Caucasian people came down there, they was eating them too. Yeah, man. Kill them with a dart of poison, then eat them. No, not today. This was a long time ago. This is like a couple of 100 years ago. Yeah, a couple of 100 years ago. They don't do this anymore. This is a couple of 100 years ago. But they ate their own families. They ate their own people, man. Oh yeah. See, this is all come to pass. You understand? This is all come to pass. Everything the Bible wrote come to pass. You understand? Everything it wrote come to pass. Man. Okay? But now, I just want to remind y'all, the awakening has begun. The awakening has started. So no, we're not eating our own people anymore. Even though right now, as I'm speaking to you, black people hate each other. It's true, right? I mean, come on, be honest, right? We hate each other. We can't be in each other's company, man. Like, my father, he hates us, he hates his own people. Cousins get married, people get married. He don't want nothing to do with it because they can't even be around each other, man. Why is that? Because of all of this wickedness that has come upon us, man. Because of all of dysfunction that has come upon us. Generations can't even stand to be in each other's presence. We don't love ourselves. We don't love each other. That is what Messiah said, that you should love one another. It ain't this soft, flowery stuff that they come out of these Christian churches with. It ain't that effeminate thing. No, it's you as brethren. Stop hating each other. Deuteronomy showed that you were going to do that. Stop hating each other. Stop shooting each other. Stop killing each other. Starting to understand that it is the trap of the enemy that put them drugs in our neighborhoods. They put the guns in our neighborhoods for us to kill each other over the pieces of paper that come from the Federal Reserve. Don't think that starting black businesses is salvation. There's no salvation in that, brothers and sisters, because you can't get salvation in the US dollar. Wake up. Got brothers out here talking about economic freedom and we need economic justice. And man, stop begging Caesar for his money, man. Stop. The kingdom of righteousness is going to destroy all this stuff. Federal Reserve going to be destroyed. U.S. Treasury going to be destroyed. And all these dollars are going to be destroyed with it. The sooner we understand that, the better. This is the kingdom of righteousness we're talking about, brothers and sisters. Perfect righteousness. And we just read it's going to stay forever and ever and ever. We need to get into the righteousness. The spirit of righteousness and holiness is what we need. We don't be worried about these people's money. Are you hearing me? Let them have their 7-Elevens and their businesses. Let them run all that stuff. There ain't no salvation in that. They behind's going to go in the grave and die just like any animal, man. And you know what? They got to come up out them graves and they got to face Yahushua, the Hebrew Messiah. And brothers and sisters, they don't want to see his face. They don't want nothing to do with that. After you've been chasing Caesar's dollars all your life. Smith & Wesson can't do nothing for us either. Can't. See, brothers and sisters, nothing that's made by man and Caesar and they stuff is going to help us. Our help comes from something that's not made with hands. Yahushua. The righteousness of faith of Yahushua, the kingdom of Yah, not made with hands. You see, we got to look for those things not made with human hands for our salvation. Human hands can't give us salvation. If it's a dollar printed by man, believe it. You can have a few of them. You can have a few of them, but they'll take it from you anytime they want. Why? Because it's theirs. You say, well, I earned this dollar. You know, you earned Caesar's paper, and Caesar can take that paper from you anytime he wants to. Ain't y'all seen enough of that? I mean, we were talking about Joe Louis earlier, and I'm just going to use him as an example. Joe Louis, right? Joe Louis bought into the quote-unquote American dream. Yes, he did. He loved his people, but he bought into the American dream, and he became a champion, heavyweight champion. He held the heavyweight title longer than any man ever held it. Joe Louis held the heavyweight title for like 12 years. For more than a decade, nobody could beat this man. That's how bad he was with his hands. And he made a lot of money, and he gave away a lot of money. I mean, he gave away money, and he made money, right? But then when they started saying he was too big for his britches, here come the IRS at him. Here come the IRS. You owe us back taxes. This is the man that was giving away money, right? Didn't even claim it on his taxes. And they knew that, but they wanted to humble him. They didn't want him to be rich. So they say, you owe us all this money. So here he is. He's like 49 years old. He got to come out and fight against the great white hope, Maki Marciano. And the boy's like older than dirt. And Marciano knocks him out in like the 15th round. But even as the old man, he was giving that boy all he could handle, right? And then he still was begging, you know, trying to make a little money here and there. They humbled him. He brought into the American dream and died penniless. Why? Because they can take that money anytime they want, man. They can take it anytime. You understand? That's their money. You may think it's in your bank account somewhere, but they can take it anytime they want. And I just used him as an example, but there's a lot of people in the entertainment world die broke just like that. Don't trust in these Federal Reserve notes. Can't do nothing for you. I don't care how many of them you have. I don't care if you got 1 billion of them. There's just paper, man. It's just paper. And really, wait. It's even less than that. You know what it is? It's a number on the computer screen. Wait, did you hear what I said? The wealth of most of these people are just numbers on the computer screen. Rome took all the gold between them and the queen, and they got gold stacked up, diamonds stacked up, but even that's not going to help them. It's not going to save them from the judgment to come. But people that got numbers on the computer screen and think they got wealth, man, all they got to do is click a button on you and you ain't got nothing no more. Do you know that? I get paid every week or every 2 weeks from my job, right? How do I know I got paid? Well, I look at my account and these numbers appear in there. I don't see no green. I look at my account and these numbers appear in there, right? They deposit these numbers in my bank account. So I got these numbers. And if them numbers run out, guess what? I ain't got no more money, right? But that's just how it is. And if one day they decide not to put them numbers in my bank account, I wouldn't have them. Or if somebody hits the wrong button and also know my number's gone, they just gone, right? Because that's what it's about. But with them numbers, if I had a lot of them numbers in my bank account, like if they had like 7 figures or 8 figures in my bank account, I could walk up and buy a house. I could buy a house. I could buy a car. I could buy land. I could do all kinds of things, start businesses, right? And just as quick, they could take it all away. Done. Just like that. In a snap of fingers, just like that. Gone. It can be all gone. See? You can't put trust in this stuff, man. But you know what? Perfect righteousness will never die. And those that obtain perfect righteousness will never die. Okay? Nobody can steal it. To lose perfect righteousness, you got to give it up. You just got to decide yourself to give it up. And the devil tries to induce you to give it up for what? For numbers on the screen? For paper? For gold? For silver? For land? For what? For what? This earth ain't going to last. We in the last days. It ain't going to last. You hear them sirens out there? It's going crazy. You hear that? You hear that? This earth ain't gonna last, man. It's going down. The only thing that's gonna stand is perfect righteousness. And those that are covered in the robe of perfect righteousness. Those who as the apostle Shaul said, apprehend that for which they are apprehended of in Messiah. The perfect righteousness covers them and they grow up in it by the grace of the Most High, by that grace that is real power. That's what the grace of the Most High really is. It's a favor shown on you in power for you to overcome all sin. Sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under the condemnation of the law. You are under the power of the grace of righteousness. Praise the Most High. Yeah, don't get caught up in this stuff. Rich and famous stuff, man. Get caught up in righteousness. Rich and famous and following these fools is what got us into Deuteronomy 28 in the first place. Trying to worship like them, trying to be like them, it ain't working. It ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. Let's continue. Deuteronomy 28 from verse 58. Let's stop right in verse 58. Notice what it said, verse 58. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, Yahweh thy Elohim. Wait a minute, let's stop right there. See, this is the thing, brothers and sisters. See what I'm saying? They put Lord thy God in here, right? In the King James, because they didn't know no better. Because you know what? It's not for William Tyndale, a Caucasian man, to know what the Yahweh's real name is. He got to have a Hebrew teach him, and he was a master linguist, right? But he had to have a Hebrew teach him, and there wasn't no Hebrews around. So what he put? Lord thy God. That's all he know. But we know better now. Yahweh is his name. Yahweh thy Elohim. Some people say Yahushua. Okay, fine. Some people say Ahia. I'm with that. No problem. But it ain't Jehovah. And it ain't Lord. That ain't his name. But we know his name. And he says, if you observe his law, he'll let you know his name. You're going to know his name. You're observing his law. You're seeking to be obedient to the only true God, the most high creator of all heaven and earth. That's what he is. And he will reveal himself to you. That's what Messiah promised. We'll make our abode with you. That's him and his Father. He said, we'll make our abode with you. Him and his Father. In the spirit. Yah is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. That spirit is perfect righteousness. Praise the Most High. Perfect righteousness. So he wants us to obey. He says he told our fathers did not observe or obey all the words of the law. They did not do it. They did not follow after the perfect righteousness. And we ended up in chains, physical chains. And now they took physical chains off many of us, not all of us. Some of us still in physical chains. In North Africa, they still enslaving people. They still enslaving brothers and sending them to Saudi Arabia. In the United States of America, we still in chains. You want to see? You see them brothers, they put in them orange suits and put them in chains and have them out there picking up garbage. They still in chains for selling weed. I mean, really, for selling weed. Here you got the president of the United States telling us how good the communist president is in Russia, how much of a good guy he is. And they got brothers chained up for selling weed. I mean, really. Anyway, that's how it is. So the Most High has allowed that so that we will wake up and stop looking at Caesar's money and looking at Caesar's fame and eating his swine and eating his shrimp and his crab and thinking we doing something. That we'll wake up and see from whence we are falling, from which we fallen. Look unto the rock from which ye are hewn, the Bible says, to the hole of the pit from which ye are digged. Look to Abraham, your father. For I called him alone and blessed him. By myself, he said, I swore, that in blessing I will bless you and multiply your seed as the stars of heaven. And these shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. And I'm going to bless your children. He said that. We just read it. Genesis 22, we just read it. You know, our fathers failed. Let us learn from our fathers. Let us learn from our fathers. And you sons of Japhet, you Caucasian and Anglo-Saxon, learn from your fathers. Learn what they did to us. Say, you know they did us wrong. Hook up with these Hebrew brothers. Get yourselves straight. You can be in the kingdom. Most High is trying to save you in the kingdom like he did your fathers from the first century. Shaul was preaching to your fathers in the first century and gave them the truth. He gave them the justification by faith message. He gave them the truth. And then after Shaul died and all the apostles died, your fathers turned that truth into Christianity. They turned it into paganism. What they did. That's what they did. They turned it into the Roman Catholic Church. That's what they did. But that's all right. Acknowledge it. It's true. And then come to the truth. Now come to the truth. You'll be all right. And help them, acknowledge the Hebrews, connect with them and cause them, help them to love each other, let them know who they are. Praise the Most High, Yah. Some of y'all are doing that already. Praise the Most High, Yah. Let's continue. Deuteronomy 28 from verse 59 down to verse 63. From verse 59 down to verse 63, Deuteronomy 28. Then Yahweh will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sicknesses, and of long continuance. Say that twice. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will Yahweh bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. And ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim. It shall come to pass that Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good, to multiply you. So Yahweh rejoice over you to destroy and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from off the land, whither thou goest to possess. That's some powerful stuff right there. That's some powerful stuff right there. Some powerful stuff, brothers and sisters. Oh, yeah. See, this is the thing. Let me just make this very plain. Yeah, from 59. From 59 to 63. From 59 to 63. Yeah, sorry, 63. Okay. Yep. Let's look at that again. And it shall come to pass that as Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahweh will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. Let's read that again. Hey, you know what? Brothers and sisters, let me just make this plain. We have lots of enemies. But our biggest enemy is not the so-called white man. That's not our biggest enemy. See, this is the problem. See, brothers and sisters are focused because the Islam, the nation of Islam, focused and calling them white devils. And I'm not saying that they weren't a lot of white devils among them. I'm not saying that. I mean, there was. But what I'm saying is we focusing on the wrong enemy. Yeah, but we are. Because you notice what it said there in verse 63. Did you catch it? He said he rejoiced over you to destroy you. So now, as Yahweh fought against our enemies, he was fighting against us. He was fighting against us. See? He allowed these things. He was fighting against us. You can't prosper when he's fighting against you. Right? And what is he looking for us to do? Return unto him. Return unto him. And then he'll fight for us. You see, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The plans of the so-called white man, the plans of the Roman Catholic Church, the plans of the sons of Yafet and of the established order now, the establishment, their plans do not matter if we go back to our God. It does not matter what they do. You know, really, it doesn't. If we have the Most High on our side to fight with us against our enemies, brothers and sisters, there's nothing that can stop us. Nothing. And that's why the focus cannot be on worrying about economic injustices. It cannot be worried about marching in streets and trying to get our rights from Caesar. You have to focus on the covenant of Yah, on his kingdom and his righteousness. All these things will be added unto us. The enemy will be bread for us, just as Caleb said, they're bread for us. We must come back to the Most High Yah. That's right. We must talk of this. Remember what we read earlier in Deuteronomy? He said, when you talk to your children in the way, when you lie down, when you raise up, you talk to them about my law, about the Most High, about the righteousness of Yah. You keep bringing that before their face. That's where we got to be today. We got to be always angling, always looking to bring our people back into line. Never mind economic injustice. Never mind what they paying you or not paying you. Never mind all that. Don't worry about that. Our concern is being sealed in the righteousness of Yah. Because remember, as he just said, he was fighting against us, right? He's fighting against us. But notice, again, back to Deuteronomy chapter 30, back to Deuteronomy chapter 30. Notice what it says in Deuteronomy 30, verse 9. Wait. Let me start at verse 7 and go down to verse 9. Deuteronomy 37 and 9, we read it this morning. Notice what it says. And Yahweh thy Elohim will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee, and thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. And Yahweh thy Elohim what? Will make thee plenteous in every work of thy hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land. Look, wait, for good, wait. And Yahweh will again what? Rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy father. See, he's not permanently going to fight against us. If we turn back to him, he will rejoice over us for good. And there's nothing that our enemies can do. I mean, nothing. So all they're doing right now, brothers and sisters, let me just explain to you. What they're trying to do right now, I mean, our enemies, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get us first. They're trying to kill us, right? Planned Parenthood, crack cocaine, heroin, guns, they're trying to kill us, right? Best they can, they're trying to kill us. And those of us they can't kill, they're trying to brainwash with Christianity, get you all messed up, get you distrusting each other, hating each other. That's what they're doing, right? Then they sending all kind of government agents in, posing as Hebrew Israelites. Posing, I say, as Hebrew Israelites. They're trying their best in every way. But you see, brothers and sisters, as we look at the plain, thus saith Yahweh in his word, and we start to follow what he says, there's nothing they can do. See, what they're doing is the same thing that happened with Balaam. That's the same thing. The devil doesn't change. Satan doesn't change what he does, brothers and sisters. He doesn't. He doesn't. So what happened? They were marching on their way to the kingdom. And There was nothing nobody could do to stop them. So Balaam suggested to Balak, listen, you send some hoes down there, some beautiful brown hoes from Moab. They'll start worshiping your gods, and their God will leave them, and then they won't get in, and there won't be a problem for you. And that's what they did. It's the same thing they're doing now. They're trying to distract us, reality TV, trying to distract us, trying to get rich and famous, trying to distract us, Christianity, trying to distract us, brothers and sisters, all kind of government agents, trying to distract us from this very plain word right here. Keep my commandments, statutes, and judgments. Keep my word. Listen to my voice. Follow after righteousness. All thy commandments are righteousness. They're trying to distract us. But the Most High just wants us to keep righteousness before us. To keep Messiah, Yahweh Shai, who is our righteousness before the Father, keep him before us. And understand that the kingdom is going to belong to Yahweh Shai. You don't have to worry about it. All this stuff is going to fail. It's all going to fail. All the diseases, you ever hear this term? The Most High said, I'm going to bring the devices of the enemy upon his own head. You ever hear him say that? He says that in his word. In fact, let me show you. He brings the devices of the enemy upon their own head. So them trying to kill us with diseases, them trying to kill us with Christianity, them trying to distract us, all of this is going to come right back on them. It's going to come right back on them. All these diseases that they're trying to make up, these Ebola type stuff, right? And trying to put it on us, it's going to come right back on them. As all we need to do is go to the Most High's word. That's all we got to do. We don't have to threaten anybody. We don't have to fight with anybody. We don't. We don't have to argue with anybody. No. All we have to do is follow after truth and righteousness. That's all we got to do. That's all we got to do. That's it. And it sounds simple, right? It is simple, but people try to make it complicated. People try to make it complicated so that they can get you distracted. Let me find that scripture. So they can get you distracted. Okay? That's all. Trying to get you not distracted from the truth, man. Yeah, here's one. 1 Kings chapter 2. 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 32. 1 Kings 2:32. 1 Kings 2:32. Notice what it says. 1 Kings 2:32. What does it say? And Yahweh shall return his blood upon his own head, who fell upon two men more righteous and better than he, and slew them with the sword. My father David, not knowing thereof, to wit, Abner, the son of Ner, the captain of the host, and Israel, and Amasa, the son of Jether, captain of the host of Judah. See. So this is an example. Solomon was speaking here, and he's saying he's going to return his blood upon his own head. That's a principle in the Bible, and it's in more than just that place. But it's the principle in the Bible. So all of these things that the sons of Yafet and the established kingdom of Yafet in Babylon and Rome are trying to do is going to come right back on them. It's going to come right back on them. That's what the 7 plagues is about. Last plague, come right back on. Okay? All we need to do is focus on the righteousness of Yah, focus on his word, being obedient to the spirit of righteousness and true holiness. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's the word. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Amen. That's the word right there. That's the word. That's exactly right. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Amen. Can't get no straighter than that. That's exactly what it is. So everything they're trying to do to us, flood our neighborhoods with drugs, heroin and cocaine and crack, and then trying to kill us, cause us to kill each other, throwing us in jail. All of that's going to come right back on. What goes around does indeed come around. Indeed. Indeed. Praise the Most High now. We ain't got to fight with them. The Most High is going to take care of all that business. Okay? What we need to do is not get distracted from the truth of his word alone. We don't need anything else but his word. That's all we need. His word. Search it. Find it. Study it. Meditate on it. Trust in it. You'll be blessed indeed. His word. Okay, let's continue these curses. Deuteronomy 28, from verse 64. From verse 64 down to verse 67. Notice I'm stopping on 68, and y'all know why. From verse 64 down to verse 67. Deuteronomy 28, 64 to 67. Notice what it said. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would Elohim it were evening, and at even thou shalt say, would Elohim it were morning, for the fear of thy heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thy eyes which thou shalt see. Oh yes, brothers and sisters, every time a black man gets in a car and some policeman pulls him over, he's liable to die. Y'all know that's the truth, right? He could be going to the store, walking from the store, and if he got a mean look on his face, he's liable to get shot. He could be selling cigarettes, trying to make a couple of nickels, and he could be strangled to death. He could be walking through a neighborhood at night with a hood on, and he could be shot. He could be somebody that's trying to get his life right. He could be somebody that was messed up and trying to get his life right, and he could be snatched off the street and beaten to death. And they'll say he was resisting arrest. It's so bad out there that the mothers are scared when their sons go out. Wives are scared when their husbands go to the store. Because at any time, you could be put to death in Babylon. At any time. That's the way it is. Now, when the angel of Yahweh encamps round about you because you're keeping his commandments, statutes, and judgments, you ain't got to worry about these things. No matter what. No matter what. For number one's sake, you're not scared of death no more. Right? When you walking with the Most High, you're not scared of death no more. Don't bother you no more. Number one. And number two, the Bible says the angel of Yahweh encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. Don't care what the Caucasian police officer has or those coons that want to be like them. Don't matter. When the angel of Yahweh is with you, you know they had Peter hung up in that jail. 16 soldiers. They had 16 guards guarding Peter. 16. They had one on each side of him chained up to him so he couldn't go nowhere. And you know that brother walked right out of that jail when the angel of Yahweh came. Angel of Yahweh came to him, tapped him, said, stand up. Chains just fell right off him. And he said, just be quiet, follow me. The doors just opened right before him until he was gone, and none of them men even seen him leave. When the angel of Yahweh encampeth round about you because you're keeping his commandments, statutes, and judgments, when you are following the truth of the word, you ain't got to worry about that. Praise the Most High, Yah. But when you not, because you've still been ignorant, you've still been blinded, you've still been distracted, trying to get money, trying to get paper, being angry and not knowing why, serving some Christian church, then you're in trouble. That's why we got to get the word out to our brothers. We got to get the word of the truth out to our brothers. They got to understand what's going on, brothers and sisters. Salvation is not in the civil rights movement. It's not in the nation of Islam. It's not in economic justice. Salvation is from the Most High Yahweh in his perfect righteousness. That's what salvation is. And if you are in that perfect righteousness, you're wearing that robe that Yahweh shall provide for you, you ain't got to worry about nothing. Nothing. Just keep it exactly right, Kimmy. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Because you're going to have a lot of us. You know what they do, right? One of the most effective means of keeping the true Israelites blinded and dumb and enslaved is when they send some of us to do it. See, as always, the story of Judas is going to be repeated all the way until Messiah returns. The story of Judas started in heaven. Do you know the story of Judas started in heaven? The first Judas wasn't Judas. The first Judas was Asatan. He was the first one. And ever since, that story is going to be repeated. So the most dangerous person to the black man is another black man that's sold out. A sellout is the most dangerous one. And most of the sellouts are posing as preachers, Christian preachers. Beware of them. They're the biggest of the sellouts. Especially when they got you reaching in your pocket and they asking you for money. You need to really warn your brothers and sisters about these people. When they got you reaching in your pockets asking for Caesar's dollars to come out your pockets so that it can come in their pockets, you can know right now they crooks. You need to leave them alone. Praise the Most High for the awakening, brothers and sisters. Praise the Most High for the awakening, because he's awakening us up to what Christianity really is. It's a Roman Catholic pagan religion. That's what it is. It's a Roman Catholic pagan religion. That's what it is. We ain't Roman Catholics. We ain't created to be pagans. The Most High called us of the seed of Abraham to serve him, the Most High Yahweh, the creator of heaven and earth, the Most High in his covenant. Praise the Most High. And he sent Yahweh Shai as the messenger of the covenant to pay the penalty for the sins of his people, to cause his people, to save his people from their sins. Yahweh Shai, the ultimate brother. He came to save his people from their sins, the ultimate brother. Ain't none like him. Let's finish this chapter. Deuteronomy chapter 28. And here's the crux of the matter. This is where it all blows up. This is where it started blowing up for a lot of us. This is where our minds blown. Deuteronomy 28:68. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Let me break this down for y'all. Let's just, we know we gotta spend some time on this. Praise the Most High. Yeah. First off, he said, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Egypt, translated in Hebrew, Mizraim. Egypt translated in Hebrew, Mizraim, which is Mizraim, one of the four sons of Ham. But in this particular case, he's not using it as Mizraim, as one of the four sons of Ham. No, he's using it to mean that I am Yahweh thy Elohim, which brought ye out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. The land of Egypt represented a house of bondage to our brothers and sisters, our fathers from old time, represented a house of bondage to them. And he said, you're going to go back into bondage again. But this time, you're not just going to walk in. They're going to pack y'all up in cargo slave ships. They're going to pack y'all up. That's the first part. That's the first part. Okay. Praise the Most High Yah. Let me see here. Now, the second part. Whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Thou shalt see it no more again. Let's look at Exodus. Let's see what he's talking about here. Exodus chapter 14. Many brothers don't get this part. And that's why I'm breaking it down piece by piece. Seriously, I'm trying to bring the truth out here. Exodus chapter 14. I want you to see what he means when he says, but whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. It's Exodus 14. Okay, notice what it says, Exodus 14. And I'm going to read from verse 13. I'm going to read from verse 13 down to verse 15. Yeah, that's all we need. 13 to 15. Notice what it said. And Moses said unto the people, that is our fathers, the Israelite nation, he said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of Yahweh, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, notice what it says, ye shall see them again no more forever. Yahweh shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. And Yahweh said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the people of Yasha'al that they go forward. Go forward. Ye shall see them no more again. That's what he said. He said, now in chapter 16, he said, if you go ahead and start worshiping these other gods, and you start worshiping them, and you start following after their ways and breaking my commandments, statutes, and judgments, I told you would never see it again. But now you're going to go back into bondage, and you're going to go back into slave ships. You're going to see it again. That's what he's talking about. When he says, thou shalt see it no more again, he was talking about slavery. You shouldn't see slavery anymore. You shouldn't have never saw it again. But because you went back and you start keeping the laws of man, you start following these gods, or these wood and stone gods of Christianity and Islam, and you start eating the swine of the sons of your fet and his lobster and his crabs, and you start thinking you're getting delicacies, and you start eating the blood, and you're getting away from my commandments, you're going to get back into slavery. Because you're eating like slaves. You're worshiping like slaves. You're living like heathen. I'm going to put you back in slavery. That's what he means. Thou shalt see it no more again. And notice again the last part. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Let me explain that. So obviously the first part, you're sold for bondmen and bondwomen. Our fathers placed in chains, and still are this day as I'm speaking to you. Still on chain gangs in the United States for nonviolent crime. Still getting sold in North Africa by the Arabs to be slaves to this day, right now. And got us over there, got some of the Hebrews killing other Hebrews, trying to force them into the Islamic religion for money. I say for money. That's what it's about. No. But he says, no man shall buy you. What that means is when the Hebrew is enslaved back in the day in the land, the slave could actually buy his freedom. That's why some of these Irish people try to claim, we were enslaved too. I mean, don't disrespect us like that. I don't want to hear no Irish person talk about the slavery day, and they got their own country with their own flag, and the slavery they were in, they could buy their way out of. See, that's what it means. No man shall buy you. That means redeem you from your slavery. No man can redeem you. When they got us in slavery, we were supposed to be there forever. They never intended for us to be free from those chains. Never. And the Most High caused them chains to be breaking. You think it was Abraham Lincoln? It wasn't no Abraham Lincoln. The Most High caused them to start killing each other, north and south, over that land and over that money. And that's what caused us to get them chains off of us. He did that. And when we awaken to this truth, all them chains and them chain gangs that they on, and all them chains in North Africa is going to break too. He's going to set us free again. The awakening has begun. The most dangerous person on earth is a person like me that knows the truth, and a person like you that knows the truth. We're the most dangerous people on earth, and we don't need no guns to be dangerous. We don't need no knives to be dangerous. We don't need the martial arts to be dangerous. We just know this truth. That's what's making us dangerous. Because this truth will set brothers free. You shall know the truth, Messiah said, and the truth shall set you free. So, brothers and sisters, this is the awakening chapter right here. This is the awakening chapter right here. And there's no man that could deliver us. None. There's no organization that could deliver us. No Christian church could deliver us. Nobody. Only the Most High himself. And he will deliver us as we come back to his commandments, statutes, and judgments. It's a spiritual thing. He's perfecting us. He has to start with our minds first. He has to free our minds from all of the brainwashing and this filth that we've been brainwashed with, and our father's been brainwashed. The first thing he frees is our mind. And he pours his spirit of righteousness to do it. And he continues to open us up to truth and righteousness for his name's sake, until the day comes when he can seal that 144,000 and bring this thing to a close, because that's what's coming right now. The next movements is the 144,000 movements. And when they get that seal, it's on. It's on. At that point, it's on. And the power they're going to come with, man, they ain't seen that. They ain't seen that. Not in this generation. They ain't seen nothing like it. You're going to see people that seemingly can live without eating. You're going to see people that seemingly not get tired. You're going to see people that's preaching a word as if they were preaching on a giant loudspeaker, and they ain't got no loudspeakers going to come out their mouth like that. You're going to see people getting healed. You're going to see people getting healed from all kinds of diseases and all kinds of afflictions. It's getting ready to come. That power is coming. We got to prepare for it, because that's the first preparation is our mind in the spirit of righteousness. That's what it is. First preparation. And it starts with this awakening. Praise the Most High Yah. Deuteronomy 28, man. That's the chapter of the awakening. Praise the Most High. Let's have a word of prayer.